Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Ghostbusters 2016 film. Ghostbusters is a 2016 Australian-American, supernatural comedy film directed by Paul Feig. Written by Feig and Katie Dippold, the film stars Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, Neil Casey, Andy García, Cecily Strong and Chris Hemsworth. It is the third feature film in the Ghostbusters franchise, and serves as a reboot of the previous films. The story focuses on 4 women who begin a ghost-catching business in New York City. A third Ghostbusters film had been in various stages of development following the release of Ghostbusters II in 1989, as a result of original cast member Bill Murray's refusal to commit to the project and the death of fellow cast member Harold Ramis in 2014, Sony decided to reboot the series. Much of the original film's cast make cameo appearances in new roles. The announcement of the female-led cast in 2015 drew a polarized response from the public and internet backlash. Distributed by Columbia Pictures, the film premiered at the TCL Chinese Theatre in Los Angeles on July 9, 2016, and was released in the United States on July 15, 2016, in 2D, 3D, Real 3D and IMAX 3D. The film grossed $229 million worldwide against a production budget of $144 million. Due to the high budget and large amounts spent on marketing, however, the film is considered to be a box office bomb. Plot: physicists Abby Yates and Erin Gilbert are co-authors of a research book which posits the existence of paranormal phenomena, such as ghosts. Erin has disowned the work and become a professor at Columbia University, while Abby continues to study the paranormal at a technical college with eccentric engineer Gillian Holtzman. Erin learns Abby has republished the book, threatening her bid for tenure at Columbia. She reunites with Abby and, in exchange for Abby removing the book from publication, reluctantly agrees to assist her and Gillian in a paranormal investigation. The group witness the malevolent ghost of Gertrude Ultridge, restoring Erin's belief in the paranormal. However, a video of their investigation is posted online, and Erin is fired by the university. She joins Abby and Gillian's project, but when a new institute director learns its nature, he dismisses them. They open an office above a Chinese restaurant and call themselves the conductors of the metaphysical examination. They build equipment to study and capture ghosts, and hire the dim-witted, but handsome Kevin Beckman as a receptionist. MTA staff of Patty Tolan witnesses a ghost in a subway line and contacts the group. They document the ghost and successfully test Gillian's proton containment laser, but their findings are again dismissed. They continue to develop their technology and advertise their services as what pundits have dubbed the Ghostbusters. Patty joins the team, providing historical knowledge of New York City and a repurposed hearse. Ecto-1. Unbeknownst to the Ghostbusters, the ghosts are being summoned by devices built by Rowan North, an occultist attempting to bring about the apocalypse. When Rowan plants another device at a live music venue, the Ghostbusters are called in and capture the ghost in front of the audience. When supernatural debunker Dr. Martin Heiss challenges the Ghostbusters, the incensed Erin releases the ghost as proof. It throws Heiss out of a window and escapes. The Ghostbusters are brought to Mayor Bradley and his secretary Jennifer Lynch, who reveal that the city and the Department of Homeland Security are aware of New York's ghost problem. While privately supporting the team's work, the mayor's office and the DHS publicly denounced them as fraudsters. The Ghostbusters realize that Rowan is planting his devices along ley lines, which intersect at the Mikado Hotel in Times Square, a site with a history of paranormal activity, and discover Rowan building a portal to the ghost dimension in the hotel basement. To avoid capture, Rowan electrocutes himself, after which Gillian deactivates the portal. Erin discovers a copy of her and Abby's book among Rowan's possessions, and realizes that he killed himself so he could become a ghost and command a spirit army. Rowan returns as a powerful ghost, possessing Abby and then Kevin. As Kevin, he opens the portal and releases hundreds of ghosts. The police and DHS are subdued, but the Ghostbusters fight through the army of ghosts to reach the portal. Rowan takes the form of the ghost in the Ghostbusters logo, grows to enormous height, and attacks the city. The team devises a plan to use Ecto-1's nuclear reactor to close the portal and return the ghosts to their own dimension. The plan succeeds, but Rowan drags Abby into the portal with him. Erin leaps into the portal and rescues her as Rowan is obliterated. The mayor's office agrees to secretly fund the Ghostbusters research while continuing to publicly denounce them as frauds. With new funding, the Ghostbusters move to a better facility, a disused firehouse. New York lights up with thanks and tributes to the Ghostbusters. Patty listens to a recording of a ghost encounter and asks the others if they have heard of Zool. Cameos. A bronze bust of Harold Ramis is seen in the hallway outside Dr. Gilbert's office, appearing when Dean Fillmore leaves. Development. A third Ghostbusters film had been in various stages of development following the release of Ghostbusters II in 1989. Bill Murray, who played Ghostbuster Peter Venkman in the original films, was reluctant to participate as he felt Ghostbusters II had been lackluster, and was critical of new scripts he had seen. Dan Aykroyd, who co-starred in and co-wrote the original films, stated that the studio was aware that without Murray there may be nothing there for a sequel, and was considering a way to bring on a newer generation of Ghostbusters. One script, Ghostbusters III: Hellbent, written by Aykroyd in 1999, had Venkman leaving the Ghostbusters to spend time with Sigourney Weaver's character Dana Barrett. The remaining Ghostbusters, including a new younger member, fought souls that had been evicted from a hellish version of Manhattan known as Manhattan. The Hellbent script was revised as Ghostbusters in Hell, with plans to replace Murray with Ben Stiller. The story had the Ghostbusters finding a portal to an alternate dimension in which all the worst things about modern urban life are magnified. Traffic is stuck in perpetual gridlock and no two people speak the same language. Another story idea had Venkman transformed into a ghost. The third film remained on the writing table for several years, during which Ghostbusters, the video game, was developed by Terminal Reality and released in 2009. Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, co-writers of the original films, used the game to explore the Ghostbusters' history. All four original actors, including Murray, voiced their characters, along with other actors from the original films. Aykroyd considered the game to be essentially the third movie. The game sold over 1 million units, prompting Columbia to move forward on the Ghostbusters franchise. Ramis stated that the new film would feature the original Ghostbusters, but introduce new characters in a script written with Lee Eisenberg and Gene Stupnitsky, who had co-written his 2009 comedy Year One. The movie was set to be filmed in 2010 and released in 2011. Around March 2010, while the new script was being developed, Vulture reported that Columbia wanted to target a younger audience, and that original Ghostbusters director Ivan Reitman was under pressure to step down in place of a younger director. New York reported that Reitman, along with Murray, Aykroyd, and Ramis, had long-standing contracts in place with Columbia that effectively allow any of them to veto the development of a Ghostbusters film. Murray had told GQ in 2010 that he felt the script written by Eisenberg and Stupnitsky was poor and that dream just vaporized, but said that Columbia was pressuring him to make it. Aykroyd defended the script, saying that it offered Murray the comic role of a lifetime. The script languished as they tried to resolve the disagreement, and in January 2012 Aykroyd stated that the film was in suspended animation, as Murray was still uncooperative. Aykroyd refused to recast the role as he would not make a film that exploits the franchise. By July 2012, the Eisenberg-Stupnitsky script had been discarded and new writing staff were working on a script. Murray's reticence to commit to the project resulted in the decision to reboot the franchise instead. In 2012, Reitman suggested the option of a remake of the original Ghostbusters, allowing them to introduce a new cast. Reitman later stated he was working on a Ghostbusters reboot that would be filmed during 2013, with Ator and Cohen, Aykroyd, and himself working on the script, confirmed by Aykroyd in mid-2013. Following Ramis' death in February 2014, Reitman decided to leave the director role in March 2014, wanting to focus on smaller projects, but remained a producer to help Columbia and Sony find a new director for the film. At this point, the script featured the original Ghostbusters in minor roles. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.